Hello and welcome to episode 21 of the u3a radio podcast, where we look ahead to September's 40th anniversary celebrations with the u3a Chief Executive, Sam Mauger. But also in the next half an hour with me, Nick Bailey, we explore the game of croquet.
And there you have done that, and there goes my ball right out into the countryside. Exactly.
Change the Q for a C and you get crochet. But what does it have to do with a Cuban revolutionary?
A friend of mine had redecorated his office. He's admired Che Guevara. And if I say the well-known poster of Che Guevara...
Absolutely, with his beret and yeah.
Red and black. And he said, could you crochet me a Che Guevara? And I said, well, probably.
And we'll hear about a national bridge competition to celebrate U3A week in September.
So no matter where you are, you'll get the same hands, and you'll be competing against somebody in Cornwall or somebody up in the Shetland Isles or in London. Be exact the self-same hands. The advantage that is that you can then see at the end of the day, how well you did against all your fellow bridge players.
But first, to those 40th anniversary celebrations. Ella Watt spoke to the U3A's Chief Executive, Sam Mauger, and suggested that it had already been quite a year.
It certainly has, and it's enabled us to really push some of the messages that we wanted to get out to the wider population in the United Kingdom. So that sort of whole message about positive later life, about the contribution that everybody brings together in their U3As, their sharing of skills and experience, and also the very innovative ideas that U3A members have got. So encouraging people to come and join us, being part of that U3A membership, because it's all there to do in retirement. There's lots to do, lots to find out, lots to contribute to, and we wanted to share that message.
And have you got involved in any of the innovative things that have cropped up so far?
So I'm going to be going shortly to an anniversary quilt event in Witney, which I'm really looking forward to. I haven't seen the quilt yet in person because that was a closely guarded secret, but I've now seen a picture of it and it is absolutely fantastic. I mean, enormous, but really shows the skills and talents of U3A members in those squares. We took place in some of the picnic in the park events, so that was really lovely. I'm really enjoying that kind of relaxed time of people coming together, showing their cookery skills, and just actually being able to have that social time, which U3As are also so good at doing and engendering. We're looking forward to having the film of the armchair discussion, the first one being between Liz Thackeray and Eric Midwinter, which we're looking forward to hearing the perspective of Eric, founder, and Liz, the current chair. So that's great too. And of course, we have many more events coming up. We've got the online science network event and the research and shared learning conference. So yeah, lots of good things happening. And of course, U3A week, which will be celebrating being part of the U3A wherever they are.
Wonderful, Sam. So lots more to come. So could we have just a little update on the direction of the U3A?
Yes, so the U3A worked magnificently, I think, to get through the pandemic. So with all of those challenges and coming out of the pandemic, and we all hope, it's all now under control, but coming out of the pandemic, the movement is going through a sort of re-emergence or renaissance, whatever you would like to call it. And so there's a big focus on opening our doors again, encouraging membership to come along, and there's been lots of tools put together to encourage U3As and support U3As to do that, and support U3As to help each other do that. We're looking at developing and supporting work around learning resources, including online learning as well. So there's a piece of work developing easy to find resources that have been put together both by U3A members and other external resources that U3A members use, trying to really make that online learning experience where it is online work very well. Also remembering the support needed for people to meet face-to-face, whether it's in terms of documentation, in terms of workshops, but that face-to-face experience, which U3A is really all about. we're looking at things like the digital experience, and we're realizing that some people are really au fait with digital and some people are not at all. And remembering that we have people in the movement that have less confidence with digital, and it's really important always to keep that as a focus. Looking at the next generation of membership. So we have such a fantastic membership currently, and we want to encourage more and more people to come through to share their skills and experience, and also to take some of the pressure off those hardworking committee members that already exist. And also looking at where we can do things in partnership with other organisations, other charities that might be looking at the same things as we are, and are there anything that they can learn from us or we can learn from them. So a lot of planning, a lot of looking ahead, a lot of discussing with the membership about what we should be focusing on and where we should be going, but really building up on that kind of re-emergence that here's the u3a ready to go.
What about what we've achieved this year? In particular, this is a very special year for the u3a.
First of all, I think a huge achievement was for u3as to come back out, start working together and start being out in their communities again, sort of regrouping really after the pandemic. And that was a big thing for some u3as because some of them hadn't felt able to do a lot during the pandemic. Some had done an awful lot, but it hit u3as in different ways. Around the country, around all of the countries, the 4 nations, the u3as are back out, they're back as a presence. And I think that has been a huge testament to that feeling of community in u3as and that feeling of, what are we going to do next? How are we going to continue doing good and new things in the future? I think the 40th anniversary has been a great opportunity to coalesce everybody around that re-emergence and starting again, and us all doing something to recognise that 40-year experience that we've had. There's been also the participation of u3a members in sharing their learning skills, so through learning networks, through subject advisors, running online learning groups. We've had now over 500 u3as on the Beacon system, which is fantastic, really well supported, and that is supported by a group of dedicated volunteers, which has been excellent. So that is good. I think that's fantastic. We've had u3as that have become involved in looking at how they can raise their voice about issues that's important to them, and some have taken part in our workshops around voice and how to do that properly within the confines of being a u3a charity. So that has been really exciting. And there's the development of the u3a strategy, which again, different groupings of members of u3as are helping to develop as we look forward into the future. So a lot has happened this year, and I've really given you only the sort of headlines of it. But underneath that, there's an awful lot of activity by so many u3a members continuing to make the u3a a fantastic movement to be part of.
Thank you very much, Sam. The enthusiasm is contagious.
Yeah. It is. And, it's fantastic that we have such an enthusiastic movement, and a movement that really puts a hand up and takes part and gets counted. Lots of, you hear a lot of discussion in, outside of the u3a generally, in the world generally, about how it's difficult to get people to do this or that or the other. Well, the u3a movement is the opposite. So people come to the u3a member to take part. And I think that's a real celebration. We're a movement of doers, of people that get things done. The u3a movement this year has shown that. I think we're back out there, we're celebrating our 40 years, and we're looking to the future.
The u3a's Chief Executive, Sam Mauger. Sam mentioned the enormous quilt at Witney u3a, which must have taken a lot of dedication. But when it comes to handicraft skills, there's no stopping u3a members. For instance, have you ever heard of extreme crochet? Chris Winner, the chair of Prestatyn, Rhyl and District u3a, has developed her own style of extreme crocheting, as she explained to Joanne Watson.
Extreme crochet to me is using a crochet hook and yarn to do something different. Be creative with it. If you like, make soft sculptures and things like that. Working beyond using a pattern to develop your own personal ideas.
Now, I'm a knitter, so I know how to knit, but I've never crocheted in my life. So explain to me how difficult or easy it is to take up crocheting?
Right. Well, most people would say, well, my mother taught me or my grandmother taught me. That's not the case with me. When I first started working, I saw one of my colleagues, working with one hook and yarn, and things seemed to be growing really quickly. And I said, oh, I'd heard about crochet, obviously. And they said, stand behind me and watch. And then I picked it up. So I was probably about 21 when I first started crocheting. And the difference is you have one hook and, generally speaking, one stitch. And also, even with the smallest crochet stitch, it grows quite quickly. And I have no problem, pulling something out. I get halfway through and think, oh, that's not right. Pull it out and do it again because I can do it quickly.
So for those people who haven't got a lot of patience for knitting, crochet seems like a really good alternative.
Crocheting is something that you can pick up and put down. I know my mother would say, yes, you can pick up knitting and put it down, but you have to be a little bit more careful. Crochet, one hook, your ball of yarn, and away you go. My mum used to do what I call Jedi knitting. So she could be watching the TV and knitting, but didn't seem to do anything. And I thought, well, I wonder if I can Jedi crochet. And I did sort of for 30 seconds, probably I was crocheting with my eyes closed and I could do it. But after a while you do with crocheting, if you lose that stitch, and you've got your eyes closed, you'd need to pick it up. So you can't Jedi crochet in the same way that you can Jedi knit.
I've never heard the expression Jedi knitting.
May the force be with you, because I am a sci-fi fan. I refer to it as Jedi, Jedi knitting, where you didn't have to look at something.
How popular is crocheting these days? Because I associate it with my grandmother's generation, to be quite honest.
During the 70s, it kind of had a revival, and it was kind of I'm going to say, hippie thing to do. And then it sort of faded away. I actually stopped crocheting because I was too busy. I'd probably stopped crocheting for about 20 years. But I do think there is a huge resurgence of crochet. If you look at the number of videos about crocheting on YouTube, and it could be social media, created this sort of interest in crochet again, and other forms of craft. So I would say it's more popular now than it was in the 90s.
Do men crochet in any great number?
Oh, yes. If you look on YouTube, there are a lot of men who crochet. And because it's a craft, you get lots of women who do carpentry, you get men who do crochet.
What's the most extreme piece of crochet that you've done, Chris?
Che Guevara.
Che Guevara, the Cuban revolutionary.
Yes. A friend of mine had redecorated his office. He's admired Che Guevara. And if I say the well-known poster of Che Guevara.
Absolutely, with his beret and yeah.
Red and black. And he said, could you crochet me a Che Guevara? And I said, well, probably. So I looked at it and I thought, I'm going to have a pattern for that. You could make your own pattern by taking the poster and then gridding it and such like. But I thought, I'll have a look because somebody else is bound to have done it. And I did find a pattern and I thought, I'm not really keen on that. It wasn't really good. But I did find a cross-stitch pattern, which was really, really good. I thought, yeah, I can modify that to make it into a crochet pattern. Anyway, I transferred it across onto a spreadsheet and then I counted how many reds, how many blacks for each row that I needed. And I was going along and I thought, you couldn't tell. And it was one of these, I call it trust the process. Finished it, I'd got to my last one. It didn't look anything like Che Guevara. It was all squashed up. But of course, with yarn, and same in knitting really, your tension. And as I stretched it, I thought, oh, there's Che Guevara. So I pinned it around a piece of foam board. And I think it's actually on the website. I think Che is up there somewhere.
How big was Che Guevara?
It was probably A2 size, if that means anything. Roughly the size of the poster.
I know in knitting you can get different size needles. And if you've got really big needles and chunky yarn, you can create something in almost in minutes. Does the same apply with crochet hooks?
Yes, different size crochet hooks, made of different materials as well. I like metal hooks, but some people like acrylic or plastic. But you can also get rosewood hooks. You can get hooks made in bamboo. I've got my hook set that I use most frequently. It's got a metal hook part You can take the handle off and add another hook into it. But the beauty of it is the handle's got LED lights in it, so I can illuminate my work as I'm working.
No wonder sci-fi fan Chris likes her illuminated hook handle. It sounds exactly like a lightsaber straight out of Star Wars. And from extreme crochet to genteel croquet, we sent Peter Clift along to test his skills at the Witney u3a croquet group, where he first spoke to Valerie Palmer.
Now, Valerie, is croquet very, very popular?
Yes, it is, and becoming more so, perhaps because of COVID, but also because people are realising that it's actually a fun game to play, and u3a members can learn it from scratch quickly.
Is it a very difficult game to play?
Golf croquet is not so difficult because each of you takes a turn. The way it's played, we help one another along. Association is croquet, which is more like snooker and is much more technical. Golf croquet is much more sociable and easy to pick up, to play to a standard, to enjoy.
Do you have to be very, very fit to play croquet?
No, and I'm a prime example of not being fit. I have back problems and a shoulder problem, but I can still play croquet. Our oldest member is over 90. Our youngest is probably in their 50s.
But it's like all games and sports, is the social aspect important as well?
I think it is, yes. And I think particularly during COVID, people found it really helpful because apart from the very early lockdown, which was, shall we say, extreme, when everything was shut down, croquet, like golf, was one of the first sports that you could play again because you are outside. It's not a contact sport and it can be played at a distance. We could keep our distance on the court, and they found it useful to be able to get out and see people.
So would you recommend croquet as a pastime for people to take up?
Absolutely. I don't think there's more endorsement than that.
Well, I'm joined now by Roger Booth, and we're actually out on the croquet court. So, Roger, roughly how big is a croquet court?
The court is measured at 35 yards long by 28 yards wide. You can fit 2 tennis courts onto a croquet court.
Okay, so it's about the size of 2 tennis courts. And you've got a hoop in roughly each corner?
There are 6 hoops in all, 4 in each corner, and then 2 down the centre. Oh. And then there's a coloured peg, right in the centre of the court.
And the rough idea then is that you start and you hit the ball and you've got to get the ball through the hoop.
Ideally, in as few hits as possible.
Right, okay. And I guess the one who does it in the least number of hits is the winner.
Well, yes, in a nutshell. Right. As soon as you put one ball through the hoop, everyone does not have to go through that same hoop. Everyone then charges on to the next hoop.
Well, that looks, given that you can get the ball through the hoop, pretty easy, really. Is that all you do? You just hit the ball through the hoop?
Straightforward, as easy as that.
And nothing else happens?
It takes years of practice. And I'm still not getting it right.
And there must be some kind of strategy to the game.
Today we're playing golf croquet in a foursome, 2 against 2. And it is often described as chess on a larger scale because you're thinking about not only the shot that you're about to play, you're thinking about the next shot, and you're thinking about the second ahead shot of what you're about to play.
Right.
So you're working out the strategy, who's going to play what, how is your opponent going to play, is he going to miss, what happens if he does miss. It's all about tactics and thinking 1-2 strokes ahead.
And I've heard it can be a pretty savage game in a sense.
Well, yes. Yes, if you want to, it's not only about knocking your ball through the hoop, it is also about taking your opponent's ball out. If the opponent's ball is about to run the hoop and it's your turn next, then you want to take out the opponent's ball to make sure he doesn't run the hoop. And to do that, you can send them as hard as you possibly can to the far end of the court, so he's really out of the game. That's the tactic there, and it gives great satisfaction when you whack that ball and he goes further. On the other hand, if you miss, it's a bit embarrassing. You end up off the court, leaving your opponent right in front of the hoop.
Well, we're here on a very nice, warm, sunny day. So, given the English weather, I guess croquet is a game you can only play 2 or 3 weeks of the year. Is that true?
We're a tough old breed, these croquet players. No, we play all round. We have a winter court. The 2 summer courts we rest up and we play throughout the winter. This is not like cricket, where rain stop plays. We play throughout the rain, when it's raining, and we even play when it's snowing.
So you can play croquet in the snow?
You can. Okay. You've got to watch where what the colour of the ball, but yes.
So an all year round game, right?
It is, yes.
Right, let's have a go at playing some croquet then, right? So all I have to do then is to knock my ball and hit it through the hoop. Okay, so I'll have a go. Here we go. Well, that's gone fairly close to the hoop. So then it'd be your turn to hit the ball.
And now he's fairly close to the hoop. My opponent is fairly close to the hoop, so I will knock him clean out of the way, hopefully.
And there you have done that, and there goes my ball right out into the countryside.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for that, Roger.
Quite all right.
And as I go off into the country to retrieve my ball, I'll hand you back to the studio and Nick Bailey.
And I thought croquet was genteel. So what about a nice game of cards? During the first part of the lockdown, Steve Carter from East Norfolk Bridge Club started up an online forum for u3a members nationally to play bridge one evening a week. The great response to this encouraged him to set up a national bridge competition in September to celebrate the u3a's 40th anniversary. Sarah Goodall asked him to explain more.
The idea is that we're offering something for everybody in the bridge playing field, that is. So whether you're playing online or whether you're playing once a week in your garden with a few friends over a glass of wine or a cup of tea or whatever, there'll be something for everybody. What we're doing over the whole 5 days, as you obviously know, the anniversary week is from the Sunday to the Saturday. Our actual anniversary is on the 21st, but we're actually running a daily bridge competition on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. And we'll be playing the same hands, all over the country. So no matter where you are, you'll get the same hands, and you'll be competing against somebody in Cornwall or somebody up in the Shetland Isles or in London. Be exact the self same hands. The advantage of that is that you can then see at the end of the day, how well you did against all your fellow bridge players. We're also having some experts who will actually be analysing those hands and will then be sending out a commentary on the following day, obviously, and that says this is how the expert would have played the hand, and this is the score you should have got. This is the bidding you should have made. Okay, so it's all good, exciting stuff. If you're a bridge player, that's the interesting thing. Yes. Okay.
I am not a bridge player, so what I'm wondering is, if I get to the end of Monday and I've done badly, does that mean I don't get to play on Tuesday?
Yeah, you can play 5 times during that week. What you can't do, of course, you can't play the same hands again on the same day. That would be cheating, and we don't endorse that.
And most people will know how to.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
How many groups have signed up?
So far, we've had a sort of a semi-commitment from 880 people.
Wow.
So over the now, knowing our luck, of course, they'll all want to play on the Monday, and nobody will want to play on the Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday.
It's quite a useful exercise anyway, trying to locate all these groups, because obviously, even though I don't play bridge, I know it's one of the most popular thing in u3a memberships around the country. So at least you'll have some data after this, won't you, by the sound of it?
Well, I hope so. I really hope so. And I'm hoping it's going to be the forerunner of something else. It would be nice to be able to run the same thing on U3A Day every year, or U3A week. So again, it depends. This is the first time it's been done, to my knowledge. So it'd be really good to find out how successful it is and how interested people are. and continue playing bridge.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Don't forget to let us know how it goes afterwards, Steve. And how,
Absolutely.
if people are listening to this podcast, is it still possible to sign up even in August?
Absolutely, yes.
How would they do that?
Get in touch with me, u3a bridge group at hotmail.com. What I hadn't told you earlier, Sarah, is we've had some really good responses from some of the bridge playing community, and one of the bridge online playing platforms called Bridge Club Live have offered a 40-day free trial to all u3a members.
What is?
So what they're saying is normally they'd charge for that session, and they're saying, we thoroughly endorse what u3a is doing, and we'll support them with a 40-day free trial.
So even more incentive to take part. Well, I'm sure it'll be not just a success and worth all your time and effort, but I'm sure it sounds like it's going to be in the calendar, in the u3a calendar. I'm sure when people have got the bit between their teeth, they'll want to do it again.
I sincerely hope so.
Well done.
I sincerely hope so.
For creating a new u3a custom. Thank you very much, Steve, and good luck with the enterprise.
And thank you for supporting it and advertising it.
Steve Carter, the subject advisor for u3a Bridge. And that email address again, if you want to take part, is u3abridgegroup@hotmail.com. And that's it for this edition. My thanks for the interviews to Ella Watts, Joanne Watson, Sarah Goodall, and poor old Peter Clift, who's still looking for his ball. And of course, Ella, who produces the podcast. Don't forget, we're always looking for stories, whether it involves you or someone else in your u3a. So we'd love to hear from you. Get in touch through communications@u3a.org.uk. Until next time, this is Nick Bailey saying goodbye.